Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another round of the BISC GT3 Championship for Season 1. It is Road America and time for round number 4 here today. And we're very excited to be back once again. This time, as you can see, in the rain. Rain not too bad at the moment, but it is certainly bad enough for the wet tyres to be used by the drivers out there on the circuit at the moment. The drivers actually have just completed their first lap times across the board, and now they're continuing on in the rest of this session. Just over 5 minutes remaining in qualifying. It is myself, Ian Leary, and Austin Sheff alongside me here for this round of the championship. Good to have you alongside me, Austin, for this one. I'm looking forward to this. Road America, always a good circuit, but we've had a bit of a rain interruption for this race. It is, as I say, not tipping it down, but it is certainly wet enough for those treaded tyres to be used at the moment, as we're seeing in this qualifying session.
Yeah, indeed. And when the rain hits, from what I've seen, rain it doesn't really slow you down as long as you're on those wet tires, but obviously that could possibly change, possibly not, but it shows no sign of slowing down here at all here at Road America.
No, absolutely. It's continuing to rain at the moment, and that will remain the case for the rest of this session, I would imagine. In the championship standings heading into this round, it is Eric Aria who's leading the way still. 2 points only, though, is his gap over Guillaume Dombre, who won twice last week at Sebring. Went back-to-back, and so it's really closed that points gap now, although the two of them are starting to run away from the rest of the field. Ivan Battiato is in third place, and then you've got Dante Oliver, Gordon Pianzola next in line, so they're a little bit further back and have got some work to do if they want to be involved in the championship fight a little bit later on here this season. Lee Harrison, for example, who's top of this session, is only 9th. As it stands, but we've got a relatively big field here today. Over 20 drivers, in fact exactly 20 drivers are entered into this session at the moment. That should make it into a very exciting race actually here from Road America. We've got certainly enough drivers to make this circuit feel pretty busy here today.
Yeah, indeed. And these lap times are definitely really fast. Like the rain, no big deal for these guys. It's like they've done this with plenty of times before, and they think it's just normal track. But obviously speed going to be a big factor here in this one, and how well you can race around the circuit.
Yeah, and indeed not make mistakes as well, I guess, is going to be a huge factor here as well. It's always the case with wet weather driving. It's always it's always good to be quick or whatever, but if you can't keep it on the road, then it's not much use being quick. You've got to be able to control it as well, and that's going to be another big factor as well. See how clean and consistent these guys are, because after all, they are short races here today, and indeed throughout all of the season. It's short racing, so we'll see who gets on in terms of who keeps it on the road, but that's going to be super difficult. There you can see we're following Ben Snell at the moment, just running a little bit wide there through the kink at turn 11. Another one of those really tricky corners where if you go a little bit wide up into the grass, you can very easily find yourself into the wall.
Yeah, if I was the driver, I think the big thing I would be concerned about is definitely those braking zones, because if you mess up one of those braking zones, you're going to be off that track and you're going to lose a couple spots from what I've seen. Yeah. See, he's just going to cruise out in the rain, going to come up to the uphill part on that straightaway. He's going to be entering pit lane.
Yeah. Doesn't bother carrying on to the end of the lap. So anyway, it's the end of his session probably at this stage. He'll take the tow, and that will be the end of that. And that's a late lap time from David Wang in the Mercedes. That's a good time it is as well to move up to the top, 2:17.2. And it looks like that's going to be the pole position here. There is not much time remaining, I can tell you. Just about a minute to go until the end of this session.
Yeah, and now this is an invert, so Wang will start in the back. So the slower cars will start up on that front row and then lead us off once we go green here.
Yep. That will be the case a little bit later on, as the final minute of the session starts. Kyle Newhill's the only driver really on a lap time here towards the end of a lap as well. He's in 11th place at the moment, and we'll see where he gets to at the very end of that lap. He now comes his way towards the line here. And that McLaren, one of 3 McLarens we've got in this field this time around. These guys around the other part of the lap. This is David Wang, who is leading the way, 2:17.2, and this is a strong lap time so far from him. Looks like it's going to be enough for pole position. 2:17.2. Newhill, by the way, has gone over the line. He stays 12, but yeah, this is strong from Wang, and it looks like he has taken that pole position here at Road America. So there you have it. There's the end of the qualifying session. And it's David Wang who takes the pole. We will take a look now at the starting grid, ready for this first race of the day. And, of course, it is David Wang who takes the pole position ahead of Lee Harrison. Eric Arria will be alongside Ben Snell. Then on the next rider, Guillaume Dombre, who took the 2 wins last week. And Peter Ferrero, who is in 6th place. Ben Mitchell and Dante Oliver are on row 4 ahead of Ivan Vacciato and Matthew Brown, running up the top 10. Anthony Eduardes is 11th ahead of Kyle Newhill, with Matt Warner and Paul Pitton on row 7. Jordan Pianzola next ahead of Michael Angeli, with Scott Borman and Luke Broadbent on row 9. And then Scott Evans will be the last one. So obviously Austin's not driving with us. Yeah, Scott Evans will be the last one to be at the back end of the field for this race. And the race start itself is going to be such an ordeal as well, isn't it? Because, you know, the conditions and the amount of cars we've got in the field, it's going to be very, very difficult for everybody to get down cleanly in towards turn 1.
Yeah, you can see Wang starting on that right side of Harrison there. I wonder how that's going to be that factor for Wang on the right side.
And let's see. As the cars will pull away in a moment. Eric Arria, the only driver from the top end to not get onto the grid just yet. He's, of course, our series leader here this round. And yeah, that's always a big target on your back as well when you are the series leader. He's top of the standings, but how can he keep those that advantage, I should say, over the rest of the field? It's a big day for him, but you know, we're not even halfway through this season. Long way to go yet. It will be halfway at the end of this round, so it's a big target on Eric Arria's back to try and stay in that championship lead, as the cars will pull away in a moment and start their very short pace lap towards the start-finish line.
There's that Porsche safety car going to lead the field here at Road America. It's definitely going to be an exciting race, especially with all the drivers that we have in this field. Obviously, you got to nail these braking points, especially out here in the rain on these wet tires. So you just got to be consistent with your braking zones and not mess up. That's definitely a key factor here.
Yeah, huge factor here for this race. And look at even the way they're on the pace lap, just slightly out of shape here. Just trying to get themselves going and lined up, but now they do. But yeah, a little bit disorganised to begin with. Now they'll be in position, ready for this race. Of course, first race, 10 minutes here in race number 1. Very short sprint race to begin with here tonight. David Wang brings them up to the start-finish line. And he gets us underway immediately. He wasn't going to wait around at all, and gets us underway here at Road America. Green flag waves. And David Wang leads the field down in towards turn number 1. Lee Harrison next in line, trying to make up a place here and stay in that second position, I should say. Ben Snell gets past Eric Arria by the looks of things, up to 3rd, so that's a good start from him. And he's got a good run out of turn 1 as well as Snell. Down the inside he'll go of Lee Harrison. This is a great start for Snell. He's moved from 4th place where he qualified and already up to 2nd off of the start of this race.
Yeah, you can see some of these Porsches at the back of the field just trying to make their way slowly but surely up to the field. Obviously, they're backed up a little bit more from those slow qualifying times, but I think the Porsche could definitely come back and be in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, it's very possible. Oh, it's contact.
That was a little
like there was
worse.
Between the two Porsches there.
That 22 had to go wide after that little bit of contact. There's one of the Corvettes we have in this field. Now back to Ferrari, a little further up in the field. It's currently sitting P4. That would be Leigh Harrison.
Yeah, just in fourth place, just having lost that third actually after the start of the race, or lost second, sorry, after where he qualified. Let's give him Dobry. Just in that Porsche, the best place of the Porsches actually, or second best place I should say, with Eric Arria, the best place of the Porsches. Those guys are, of course, championship contenders. Dobry, the winner of both races 1 week ago, but it's been a clean start all round. We did see that little bit of contact down towards turn 5 back here for these guys.
Spinning!
Oh dear, through the kink while the Corvettes goes around.
That's what that factor is. That's those wet, is the wet surface on those wet tires. You got to be careful, especially going through that S. That was the starting back there, and he kind of just got a lick of that and spun out back there.
Such a difficult corner around this circuit, with absolutely no room for error as well. It is not ideal at all. But it's the end of lap 1. And Leigh Harrison has at least made up that third place again. You can see Eric Arria in the background trying to get third place back again. Real seesaw battle. But Harrison will keep third for now, and try and keep the championship leader behind as Arria tries to make up points on his main championship rival, Dobry, who's just in behind him here.
Yeah, as you can see on the standings there, David Wang keeps pulling away from this field, and if he can continue to be fast and consistent like this, he can definitely come away with this first win in this first race here at Road America. This rain is showing a no factor of slowing him down. He's keeping up a great pace by leading over 1 second on Ben Snell.
It's a good lead to have at this stage, just over a second. But you know, that's what you expect really from the driver who topped qualifying in this session. He was fastest there, and looks like he's going to be fastest again in this first race of the day by the looks of things. But of course, there's still a pretty long way to go here in this one. Just on to lap 2 at the moment. Probably going to be 5 laps for this first race, by the way. So on to lap 2. He's under pressure still from Snell, you know, who's still lurking there, but Wang is under control at the moment. It is in his hands as he now comes around the carousel towards the kink now. This is where he's got to get it right. This very fast part of the racetrack we've seen already today. What can happen if you don't? And there you go, just tiptoes through that very fast right-hander.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, David Wang still has a decent-sized lead on Ben Snell. He just can't mess it up. He kind of just had a little kerplunk in that corner there, and it slowed him down just a bit, giving time for Ben Snell to catch up just a little bit. But you can see David Wang starting to pull away once again on Ben Snell.
Yeah, seesawing a little bit this gap between the two of them. I have to say, by the way, that all of the drivers have gotten away well and have indeed gone through lap 2 cleanly as well. You can see further down back in the pack, it's a little bit closer back here, but very impressive that in these conditions everybody's going to get through.
Yeah, you can see those two Porsches right behind each other, all the way back in 10th and 11th. And then they have that BMW right behind, which is looking to show some competition here in this one.
Now the brakes for turn 3. Ferreira just in front of Dante Oliver here. And Porsche again looking for a good exit. It looks like he might have it actually as he comes out of turn 3. He's right in the slipstream now of that McLaren in front, and may just be a look down the inside here. Well, he's going to go through on the inside line. No, not on this occasion. Brakes late. Oh, close to contact. Really close to contact, but somehow they avoid it.
And that's that tight racing that you gotta watch out for, especially in the rain. Like I said earlier. Oh, there he goes! That's a 27. Oh, he's gonna get it again, and there's gonna be a fender flying off of a Porsche. That'd be the 22 of Ferraro.
Yeah, and he pulls off the side of the circuit. That's the end of that for him. It rejoined as well, straight to the side of another Porsche, which wasn't ideal particularly. But well, it's been a clean race up to this point. Unfortunate that it ended there, but it was always bound to happen. When you're looking down the inside of turn 6 there, there's not that much room for both of you.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, big factor is you just gotta be careful who you're around, and it's always gotta know who you gotta trust, especially in the slipstream. And obviously, the slipstream can just catch you up, and then you are too fast for the braking zone, and you have to brake a lot earlier than you typically have to, and that's kind of what caused that there.
Absolutely. It's a real shame to see, but say it's hard to avoid. Really. As David Wang comes over the line, got more than 2 seconds over the rest of the field. As there's 3 minutes to go, there'll be 2 more laps to go in this race. But Wang's looking very, very comfortable, and there's another fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he continues to be consistent with those lap times. He gets faster every time. I definitely think he's definitely got to have this one secured, obviously with that gap by 2 seconds. And that Mercedes AMG is just absolutely flying and slicing and dicing through these corners, and it's ready to go to victory lane in race 1.
That very much looks like he is. So we come down the straight towards turn 5. In the background, not too much going on. Pittum, is trying to get past Vantagiato for 8th position here. That's the closest battle, really, out there on the circuit. Not too many of those close battles for now. There's less points available for the sprint race, but only top 10 get points in either race here in this series, and so you really do have to fight even for any kind of points, and these guys are doing exactly that. Vantagiato and Pittum fighting over 8th position. It's absolutely vital, because in this series you've got to pick up every point that you can get, because there aren't very many available. And they certainly are doing that here in these 2 Porsches. Vantagiato defending again on the way down towards turn 8. That will be on the brakes, and he survives again.
Yeah, and these Porsches obviously are being extremely fast, and I wouldn't be surprised if another Porsche ended up sliding into the top 10. That'd be a great day to be a Porsche driver with a lot more points under the belts, those manufacturers.
That would be. Through the right-hander. Fast right-hander they come. And this is... Oh, that's a big snap there. I'm not sure whether that was just a bit of a small weave there from Warner on the exit of the corner, whether it was a proper snap of oversteer, but he's running in 10th place, looking to hold on to that last point of the session. Behind him, Matthew Brown tries to regain that top 10 again, because he did qualify inside the top 10, but he's just slipped out of it now. As the leaders go over the line, just over 40 seconds to go. The end of the first race is very near. It's gone by very, very quickly as well in these wet weather conditions.
Those 3 Porsches that you saw back there climbing up that hill, obviously one of them is trying to get their top 10 back. They just got to get around that BMW, and they got that top 10 back, and they got to hold on to that top 10 to get points.
Yep, you certainly do. Wang, though, is going to get the most points out of everybody as it stands. He's currently in 7th in the championship. He's 60 points off of the championship leader, Eric Aria. That is a pretty insurmountable margin, if you ask me, but there's still more than half of this season to go, so that's why he'll still be thinking about it. Ben Snell, meantime, is going to pick up 2nd. He's 10th in the standings coming into today. Lee Harrison, 9th in the standings. He will be finishing on the podium, and then it's Aria and Dombrey. The 2 championship rivals separated by just 2 points at the start of the day. Aria just going to extend his championship lead very, very, very slightly by finishing in 4th place, ahead of Guillaume Dombrey, who finishes in 5th. Mitchell, meantime, Ben Mitchell is just in front of Dante Oliver. That's the battle for 6th place, and then there's that battle for 8th as well, that group for 8th. those are the battles really on this last lap of the race before this one comes to a conclusion pretty quickly here.
See that BMW's trying to get around that 13, and he could hopefully pick up another spot and work his way up to get more points. And that BMW is definitely showing some consistency through these corners. But the question is, will these Porsches be able to hold him off until the checkered flag flies?
He's got the big overtaking opportunity down at Canada Corner still to go. And Warner's got a decent exit there, but he's not close enough, I don't think. Pidham is closest to Vantagiato, but is he going to make his way through? I don't... Oh, he's close! Wow, that was close on the brakes. Very nearly got into the back of Vantagiato in front, but they get away with it. Meantime, David Wang's going to come out the final corner, and he's going to get up towards the line, see the checkered flag, and he will win this first race of the day here from Road America. It's David Wang who takes victory here in race number 1, having his best result so far, by the way, of a 4th place finish at the Bend Motorsports Park. So this is a big, big improvement on that. And in the rain, David Wang has taken the first win of the night.
Oh, he showed that a lot of consistency. That consistency helped him come away with the win in race 1 here at Road America. This circuit was no challenge for him, for sure.
Didn't look like it, didn't appear like that. As the only man now to cross the line, Peter Pereiro, is actually off the circuit, as it turns out. But anyway, he had to tow back to pit lane earlier, take his fast pet, and finished down in 18th position, which is a real shame for him. No points and finishing a long, long way down and taking a while as well to get to the start finish line. Looks like we'll be there in a moment, hopefully. But yeah, that's the end of the first race. Got to say, you always fear with these rain races, don't you, that the race is going to be very, very chaotic and it's going to be very messy. But it wasn't really the case here. It was a pretty clean race, to be honest, considering the conditions.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that incident earlier on in the race where that 11, I believe it was that 11 car, a Ferraro, he got loose and then he was able to save it, but then he just took it off the track and used that fast repair that we talked about. But otherwise, there was no other incidents other than some minor bumps by missing their braking zones. But other than that, it was a really clean race, and I actually expected it to be just a little bit more reckless than it actually was. So that's great props on those drivers.
Yep. Very strong performance from everybody. As we now go into warm up, the 4-minute session that will just bridge between the two races. And then we'll be underway for the feature race. But this is where last week Guillaume Dombre was able to get a really good start at Sebring 1 week ago, and he just ran away from the field after that, and never to be seen again by any of the other drivers. That was an impressive performance from him last week, but depends whether we think David Wang is going to do the same here today, and whether there's going to be a similar outcome, because this is in the rain after all. It's a different circuit and a whole different set of scenarios as well. But just never know whether there's going to be another back-to-back winner here, and whether David Wang can do that, because that was his first podium of the season just a few moments ago there in that last race. And yeah, he's done rather well to get it. Now we'll see whether he can back that up with a second race as well.
Now, mind you, that heat winner, David Wang, he is the only Mercedes out in this field, so he is the only single guy that's really trying to fight for these positions. But now he's got to see where he goes, and he's got to try to hold off anybody that's behind him, especially those Porsches, because those Porsches have been getting a lot of speed. And that McLaren, you can already see him, and he's already trying to rip this circuit, and he's going fast, and he's going real turny and wet. This one's going to be exciting for sure. I believe it.
Yeah, it is. And it's slightly interesting, isn't it, what these different approaches to warm-up are between all of these drivers. Some of them deciding just to stay in the pit box and wait for this second race of the day. A couple of drivers, seeing Kyle Newhill here, making their way out onto the circuit, doing a little bit more practice as well. I guess it a little bit depends on what kind of race you've just had, but to be honest, after having done a race like that, I would be sat in the pit lane myself, because it is time to just rest and rethink and regather yourself before the last race of the day.
That last race is definitely going to be the big race, and there'll be a lot of more competition and competitiveness to be brought into that last race. These are just these warm-up races to get these drivers prepared for what's coming later on in the night or day, depending on where you guys are watching.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on where you are in the world. Plus, this is an Australian organised league, by the way. That where obviously it's the evening, of course, but plenty of drivers from around the world. We've got an American, David Wang, who won that last race, as we just saw. A couple of Europeans, Dante Oliver, Ivan Vanchigiato, Matt Warner, all Europeans, but yeah, predominantly Australians in this league, and it's good to see so far that we do have such a strong field. We had it at Sebring actually 1 week ago as well. Real strong field there, and same again here at Road America, despite the conditions that are pretty bad here today. Of course, if you don't like wet weather driving, then this is not the round. But nevertheless, a good turnout from everybody, and a good race in race number 1 to begin with. Let's see what goes on in race 2 though, because warm-up's just about to come to a finish, and now it does. And now we'll go forward into the second race of the day. 25-minute feature race it will be, with a full reverse grid this time around. And on the front, it is going to be Peter Ferrero, who starts on the pole effectively. Oh, Scott Evans has got himself onto the grid this time around, so looks like he might start. But anyway, Ferrero behind him after those issues in race 1. Scott Portman will be next ahead of Luke Broadbent, with Carl Newhill rounding out the top 5. Anthony Edwards and Matthew Proud will be next ahead of Jordan Pianzola and Dante Oliver. Michael Angeli rounding out the top 10. Let the rest of them, you just see them on the bottom of your screen there. The guys who did well in race number 1 will have to work their way through the field in race number 2. They do have 25 minutes to do it, but even so, that is not going to make it easy for these guys.
Indeed. Especially with the rain. Obviously, the rain, like I mentioned earlier, it can slow you down depending on how you run the track, and you have to run how you run your desired line. And obviously, David Wang is looking to go from 20th to 1st, which will be insane if he does. I've never seen something like that before. Excited to see if he can do that.
Would be a remarkable performance if he is able to do it, but we'll see. Not going to be easy as they now pull away from the gridding. Well, I was going to say straight, but just the place in the road, basically, just on that run from turn 11 down towards Canada Corner. They just line up there. It does seem that interesting that Scott Evans has decided to race this time round. Didn't participate in race number 1, but be here for race 2, and that is interesting. Because he's going to start from the pole, as you can see, with that benefit of the reverse grid. We'll see, though, what happens here in race number 2. See drivers now pull themselves towards the line again. The pace car will pull in a moment, and we'll be ready to go racing with Evans in control of the field. Frank didn't leave it very long at all before letting fly on the way towards the start-finish line, and this time round, there's going to be a little bit more of a waiting period. Hopefully, everybody's going to be anticipating that, and they don't all crash into each other as the green flag now does wave, and we are underway for 25 minutes of racing in the second race of the day. Evans pulling away to a good start here ahead of Ferrero, and then it's Portman and Newhill who's being attacked by Proppin.
And a two-car Porsche crash.
Wow. Pittman and Vantagiato both into the wall coming into turn 1.
That was an interesting one on how that happened. Looks like one might have gotten loose, and now looks like Pitman is having a lot of trouble with that race car with all that rear end damage and absolutely zero spoiler. That's definitely going to hurt those aerodynamics.
It absolutely is. As they now come down towards turn 5. More Porsche on Porsche battling there, side by side, a bit further up in the field. They come through turn 5. Squeeze between Corvette and a Lamborghini there. That's wide for Scott Borman, who has been overtaken pretty comprehensively now. There goes Piazzolla around the outside of turn 7. He goes through. Next up will be Eduardes. He's coming through as well. This is difficult for those who start at the front and just can't quite hold on to their positions.
Lamborghini currently sitting 7th. There's some more Porsche. Oh, he's off the track.
Oh,
Something happened there.
such a difficult corner, the carousel. It's so easy to just run a little bit wide and end yourself in the gravel like that, because you know you're trying to maximise the outside of that corner there, but can't run too wide, otherwise that will happen. So yeah, really difficult corner that unfortunately he's fallen afoul of there and drops to the pack, does Matthew Brown.
Well, that's especially what will happen, especially in the rain. You overshoot that corner by just a little bit, you're ending up in that gravel. Some side-by-side racing, some of these guys are single file. A lot of these guys are still eager to get these positions, help out their points. Oh, he's gonna spin out!
Oh,
Another spin out. It's like he's gonna slowly try to pull out of that gravel.
not sure what he's waiting for. There's a big gap in the traffic here to get out onto the circuit again, and now he finally does. Although brings a lot of gravel onto the circuit, of course. He will now come into pit lane. Oh no, he's carries on. But Dombray's in pit lane. Vantagiato had to tow, so he's got a lot of damage clearly. Oh well, we saw that he's got a lot of damage. He couldn't drive it back though. But Broadbent meantime, Luke Broadbent goes off the road at turn 3.
Now you can see him spinning that. Tyler's trying to get his car back in action and go back out on the racetrack, but obviously wet grass makes your car even way more slippery. And he's going to come back onto the track 15th.
Yeah, it's a long recovery when you're in that wet grass, that's for sure. Now, change for the lead meantime. Ferrero gets past Evans, although they're still side by side, the two leaders. Evans has done a good job to hold on to the lead for a lap, but it's finally come to an end now. Victor Ferrero comes through and takes the lead of this race. Carl Newhill just in the background, going to try and follow through. Looking down the inside of Evans, down towards turn 8, but he can't make the pass on this occasion. Ferrero, though, leads this race, and that's a very positive start for him.
Mind you, Evans in that Ferrari, he did set the fastest lap of this race so far, but you see he's trying to catch up to Ferrero, and maybe Ferrero could set the new fastest lap of the race so far. We will just have to see on how that McLaren handles for Ferrero.
He's looking good for the moment. Now into Canada corner, that's a very different line. Ferrero going sort of wider around the outside of the corner. Evans going for an early apex there, driving really to the inside. Newhill next in line, then Piazzolla, and then there's a bit of a gap. So we're not quite seeing the full sort of reverse grid effect just yet. I mean, Wang is up to 9th place in fairness, and that is a good load of overtakes from him as Lee Harrison comes into pit lane. Harrison, of course, one of those also who has to start this race from down towards the back end of the pack. As another look from Evans. No, he won't go through this time. But yeah, the leaders and the fastest guys from race 1 haven't quite asserted themselves in this race yet.
Yeah, and remember the guy to watch is Wang. He obviously won the last race. He's currently started 20th, and now he's currently up to P8, only 7 seconds back from the leaders. Excited to see how he works his way back up front with 20 more minutes left.
Absolutely. Just 5 minutes of the 25 in the feature race complete. And so far, the bottom 4 have all been into the pit lane, and Pitton, meantime, is actually off the circuit. So dropping down even further, losing even more time, I should say, because he's already in 18th place. Anybody who's pitted at this stage, it's a long pit lane here, and they will have lost a lot of time, as you can see from those at the back of the field. But Ferrero doing a good job at the moment, leading this race with just less than 20 minutes to go. And if he can just keep it in this situation here, then he will go on to win the race, because he's in control of this at the moment. Evans not crawling all over the back of him right now. Neither is Carnuhu or Pianzola just in the background. This is comfortable for Ferrero at the moment.
Yeah, you can see Kyle Newhill really getting up to that bumper of Scott Evans. Hopefully for Newhill, that gives him some pressure and gets Evans, Evans a little nervous. Maybe they'll give Newhill a shot to pass Scott Evans.
And towards Canada corner, nothing doing this time round. In the background, Warner looking at making an overtake, and Dante Oliver. There's Eduardes there as well. Oh, was that a spin? No, sorry, just caught the Audi at a wrong time there. Pianzola still going just fine in fourth position at the moment as they complete 7 minutes of this race in only 3 laps. It is a long circuit, and made even longer, of course, by these very, very wet conditions at the moment. Eduardes trying to keep Dante Oliver behind still. Matt Warner as well, next in line, and looks down the inside. He can't get it done. Next in line after him, by the way, is David Wang, who's in the Mercedes, of course.
Yeah, like I said earlier, he's definitely fast, and he's looking to come back and win this race from starting dead last. He's only 5 seconds back. He made up 3 seconds the last time we talked about him. So that's impressive for him.
Onto the next straight, and Oliver super close to Eduardes this time. He's going to only have a look here at making his way through. Looks right and then left, and then not able to do it. Oh, near me, wow. That was contact with Eduardes, who went a little bit wide there. And squeezes out there as well. He's going to lose some places here, Pianzola. Eduardes gets through. Dante Oliver does as well. Pianzola very nearly getting into the back of Anthony Eduardes. But sorry, Newhill, I think it was actually, who we very nearly get into the back of. And then Eduardes and Oliver came through. Wang, in the meantime, is caught up to these guys. He's on the back of Warner and has a look down the inside of turn 8, but he can't get it done. This is where it gets interesting now, the reverse grid, as those guys who were at the top of the last race now working their way through, and Wang is absolutely here now.
Yeah, indeed. And when we saw that little contact, he should be lucky that it wasn't any worse, because if it was worse, that possibly could have costed him this race. And obviously he would have started a little further back and had it with pit, of course, even possibly tow out. But obviously David Wang, he's still keeping up the consistency. You can see his Mercedes back there, right behind that BMW, just really knocking on the door. Making our way through the S's.
Still applying the pressure through here, but not a place you're going to make a move, unfortunately for him. He's have to do it somewhere else. He comes now into the straight, and there they go in the pit lane. Wang and Warner both in. Less than 10 minutes gone, and they decide that the time is now. And it's probably a good decision as well. As I mentioned, it's a long pit lane here. You lose a lot of time making your pit stop, and that's not a bad thing, because it might mean they come out in a lot of clean air, and it certainly worked for Guillaume Dombre. He's the leader of those who have already made their pit stop, and he might actually be ahead of Warner and Wang, but they're going to come out in a lot more clean air than what they're seeing here. Lots of spray around up this front part of the field, and lots of traffic as well, which must have been slowing those two down.
Yeah, indeed, and I feel like that race off pit road is definitely going to change the entire factor of the race, and see who can continue just to lead that small little pack of 2 for those guys that did end up pitting. Wang just came out of the pit 16th. Obviously, he fell 8 spots from when he went in, but like you mentioned, that clean air helped him out just a little bit more. Give him some time to catch back up to this field.
The more concerning thing would be the fact that he's lost time to those who have already pitted as well. The likes of Dombre and Harrison and Warner. Those are the guys he's really racing. The fact he's lost 8 places is going to happen. But the fact that he's behind all of those who have already pitted, I think, is a problem for him. That means that the race winner from race 1, if he's going to win again, needs to do a lot of work coming back through the field as Pianzola gets his wheels stuck in the grass there on the outside of the carousel, and he's lost a lot of time there.
I honestly expected to see someone get a little loose because of the little wet spot there around that corner, but no one got loose quite yet. It's definitely getting a little more puddly around some parts of this racetrack. Like you can see it down there, just for that grass, it's a lot more puddly. Some spots on the racetrack. There's Ben Snell.
Yeah, just trying to get through into. Oh, and he's off. He's in the curve. He's on the curve there, Snell, and he's gonna find himself in the gravel. It's a really slippery outside of the corner, and the curve makes it even worse as they all come in here. Pianzola decided to come in. Mitchell and Aria decided to both come in. Oh, and Snell hits Aria. I'm pretty sure Snell just hit Aria on the way into pit lane there.
Definitely kind of underestimating the pit speed there, not being aware. Then that's going to happen, that little nudge that Eric Aria just took from Ben Snell. But now the race off pit road is definitely going to be the factor. Oh, you can see Six just missed his pit box there.
Yeah. That's going to cost a lot of time. Snell's going to be ahead of Aria in that case, even though he went in behind. And, yep, there you go.
Oh!
He is... Oh, meantime, what's happened here? Pittem and... was that Vanchiato? Or was it Michelangeli, maybe?
Yeah.
It was Angeli.
Looks like he had the meatball
went off the road.
That's rough.
Well, not surprised.
Definitely rough for him.
I'm not surprised at all he's got a meatball flag after that one. Maybe we can look back and see what happened there. But yeah, that was a big moment. Angeli with a lot of damage, and as you can see, the meatball next to his name there. Same for Pittem as well. That might be the end of both of their races now, unfortunately, and Angeli has now left the session. Yeah, that's a lot of damage to repair in the time we've got remaining.
The rain's still going to be a big factor in this one. It's just going to continue raining throughout this entire session. Signs of slowing down. Looks like it was a little slow up there for a minute.
When are these guys? Sorry. When are these guys going to come into pit lane, I wonder? The top 6 have not been in yet. And something else to note, actually, the fact that Dombre obviously pitted on lap 1. Only 4 seconds in the pit lane. Lee Harrison was in after lap 2, did 6.5. Slightly wondering whether they will actually need to pit again here, as just over the halfway stage, Ferrero leads the rest of the field into pit lane.
Gonna give Matthew Brown a chance to take the lead. Depends on how long these guys' pit stops are. Oh, now he comes into pit lane. So this could change the complexion of this race session with only 10 minutes left to go. Top 6 all in for the pit. That's what you talked about. Top 6 had not pitted yet, and now they finally came into the pits. Top 7.
Dombre's in again. So, yeah, there we go. Had to stop again. Oh! Ben Mitchell goes for a spin. Pianzola's involved, and so is Eric Aria. What went on there as the leaders now come out of the pit lane? Warner will get past them all because he's been in clean air. Wang as well, he will get past some of them. Wang's in a very, very good position here by the looks of things. The guys who have been leading have been effectively undercut by Warner and Wang pretty easily there.
Yeah, no doubt. Wang obviously has one of the fastest cars on the track here tonight. He won that race 1, and now he has to make up 8 seconds to take that lead away from Leigh Harrison. And only 8-second gap, but obviously anything can change. The leaders can spin out, and that can give him a shot to get closer to the win, or he can just keep up the pace. You can see he just got up another position after passing Ferraro. Now he's got to pass 2 more cars, and he can take the lead. Only 9 minutes left to go in the race.
Another look down the inside. Here goes Oliver on Evans. Oh, it's tight through that left-hander up at the top of the hill at turn 6. We've seen contact already there in race 1, remember. Oliver looks left and right, and Newhill tries as well, but when there's two cars battling side by side in front of you like that, or at least trying to go side by side, you're never going to be able to get yourself through, and Newhill has found that out. He's forced effectively just to stay behind for the moment as Oliver tries to get past Evans.
Nice little pack of 3 that they got here. 5th, 6th, and 7th. Oh, that Porsche got a little loose off that exit. He's able to maintain control. Kyle Newhill is just trying to make up that position on Dante Oliver. All about the focus game now.
Yeah. I mean, eight minutes to go. There's not long left now, and so, I mean, I doubt there would have been much waiting around earlier on in the race either, but, you know, even less waiting now as Lee Harrison comes into pit lane. Here goes Oliver again, looks down the inside. Absolutely no time to wait. Got to try and make the move wherever possible now, but this is turning difficult for the Porsche. He's in the grass almost, trying to make it work on the outside now, and he took them alongside.
These guys are beating and banging here. Who's going to get to the line first? And Oliver going to make the pass. Going to secure that 4th place spot. There's David Wang with setting the fastest lap. Here he comes. 1.3 back. Let's go take a look on those 2 leaders. Once it gets there, there they are. Matt Warner out front by 1.27 seconds. Wayne looking to go back to back.
Very impressive if he can.
Yeah, I believe David Wang might give him a little bit of pressure once he catches up to him. But maybe get him nervous and, you know, get him get off track and have a little issues. But other than that, David Wang is catching him rapidly here. Yeah,
he really is. And you know, it's different to actually having to make an overtake, but it's very, very telling about the speeds of these 2 drivers. I think it's 4 laps to go, including the one that they're on at the moment. I'll check that again as they come towards the line again for the end of race number 2. But Wang is in a good position here to become the 3rd driver to do the clean sweep on any given afternoon. Wang with a good exit there off the carousel. He has a look down the inside at the kink here, but he's not quite close enough to go through there.
Here's where I think that pressure might start coming in for Matt Warner. Always a high possibility that the pressure is real. Here comes Wang.
Oh! Wow.
Recalculated that. There's some debris there that some of the drivers have to look out for. See it still flinging off their tires.
So 6 minutes to go, be 3 laps at the line, so yeah. This is what Warner needed, really. There's not going to be an extra lap anywhere. It's just 3 more to go, but this is going to be a big defence if he's going to hold on for the win here. Wang is clearly quicker. We've seen that over the course of this race already, but again, he's got to make the pass cleanly on the racetrack, and at the moment, he's not able to do that. He's only able to apply the pressure to Warner, which so far Warner has soaked up nicely.
And Warner still is somewhat pulling away from Wang at certain spots on the circuit. And Wang kind of miscalculated that there. That's going to cost him just a couple seconds. Get ready. That time here.
Less than 5 minutes to go, and any sort of a respite here, which Warner has managed to earn himself in the last couple of months, any sort of a respite is very, very welcome indeed for him. He tries to go on and win this race. Few retirements down the back end of the field, by the way. Vansiato and Borman both out the race. Angeli and Pitton still long in the pit lane after their crash earlier on. They're clearing meatballs and clearing damage and all sorts, but I don't think they'll make their way back out onto the circuit anyway. as I mentioned earlier, only the top 10 get points in this series anyway on any given race, which is pretty difficult to achieve, of course, and even more difficult when you've been in the pit lane for a long, long time. Unfortunate that we've had a couple of crashes this time round, but we did well to get through the first race, to be honest, without having such problems.
Maybe Wayne starting to fall back just a tiny bit. Now gaining some time back. Maybe Warner over-calculated one of his corners, and it cost him just a couple seconds, but Wang is coming up fast.
He's wasted a lap here, really, because he's not even given it a go at any point because he's been too far back. So it's very, very good news for Matt Warner. He's got just 3 minutes to go here and is holding on rather nicely at the front of this race. A look down the inside from Wang there into the final corner. No way through on this occasion as they come into the pit lane again. So Warner and Wang with 2 laps to go enter pit lane. I'm presuming everybody else is going to have to follow here. And, well, it's a race effectively to see who can get this stop done the quickest. Ferrero, meantime, goes through. He goes past. And if they don't have to stop again, to be honest with you, not sure why these guys are pitting for a second time, I must admit.
That'd be definitely a great question there, and why they would, no clue, but maybe they had miscalculated one of their earlier pit stops and now it's costing them. What's going on now? Scott Evans in that top 10 just made it in. Got a battle for the lead here.
Yeah,
really, really
battle
close.
for the lead. Dante Oliver behind Peter Ferrero,
Whoa.
who's on the defensive. And Oliver on the outside is going to have a long, long way round there, but the Porsche's got good traction on that outside line. He switches from the outside to a look at the inside for Corvette. He's not going to go through there at turn 6 this time around, and he's got to just continue applying that pressure. He does look quicker though. Ferrero's done a good job of defending for most of this race, really. He's been at the front of this race for, but Dante Oliver really giving it to him now. Outside line at turn 8. Not able to get through. And this occasion he's lost his rear bumper there as the McLaren. But was that the front end of the Porsche?
That was the rear.
It was the rear end of the McLaren that came off there.
That could definitely stop the aerodynamics for Ferraro. That could give Oliver a chance to maybe gain some time, but you can see here on the standings, he's slowly making up some time. Now they got to be careful. Oh, car off track back there.
Was that Snell or was that Lapcott? It might be Michelangeli actually. He's already back out onto the circuit again, and a lap down. It might have been Snell. I don't know. But anyway, they're all around this part of the field anyway. It's through the penultimate corner, and this is the penultimate lap. By the way, there will be the white flag waving when they cross the line next. 1 lap to go, and this race is going right down to the wire here. Do they have to stop? Dante Oliver does, but Ferrero and Newhill stay out to battle for the race win amongst themselves.
An uncalculated pit stop there. Just kind of did not do the math correctly, and now that's going to cost him possibly a couple others that have to pit if they need to.
It's baffling, isn't it, that these guys have managed to do that and get the calculations wrong, if indeed that is what it is. It looks like it is. You know, the other guys were 2 laps out with their calculations. Oliver being 1 lap out is a little bit more understandable because that can happen at any stage, but 2 laps out is quite a long way. And surprising to see so many drivers doing it from this series, miscalculating, if indeed that is the problem here.
Yeah, indeed. Obviously, if Ferraro can hold off Newhill, we will have a new winner. As you can see, our previous winner, 49 seconds back from the leader. That last pit stop definitely costed him. Now it's going to give someone else a new chance to come away with the win in our second race. Obviously coming to the checkered flag this time.
Yeah. We are moments away from the end of this race. Ferrero is keeping the others at arm's length now. It's all he has to do at this stage in the race, just keep them at bay, keep them away from attacking him into these final few corners, and he should be okay. He's got nearly a second now. That's exactly what he needs. He doesn't need them firing down the inside at Canada corner, and you know, they're not close enough to be doing that at this stage either.
Look, there's a guy looking for the pass. That's Ben Steele.
Oh!
Went off track there, but trying to at least get a second place spot and hopefully get more points. Here they come through the S's. New Hill might not have it, but Snell might have a chance to pass. Only just a couple more corners left here at Road America.
He looks to the outside just now, but I don't think he's going to get through there. Oh, he's off, in fact, as he tries to work his way past. He's still going to finish third, but it's going to be behind Peter Ferrero, who wins race 2 of the day, with Newhill in second. Snell actually comes into the pit lane here, not sure why, but it's going to allow Eric Aria to move through onto the podium. And the championship leader, as he finishes ahead of Guillaume Dombre in both races here today, he will extend that championship lead now to way more than the 2 points he came in here with, to well over 10, approaching 20 points, I think it will be now. A very successful day for the championship leader, but it is Peter Ferrero who takes the race win here at Road America.
Congratulations to him. He really calculated his pit stops correctly, and he was able to stay out and continue to lead that one. He led quite a bit at the start, and now he led quite a bit at the end. So congratulations on Peter Ferrero.
Great drive. Really great drive from Peter Ferrero.
That was close.
This is after the finish line. The driver's just pulling to a stop on the way out of turn 1. Ferrero, though, hasn't escaped yet. I'm sure he'll be very, very pleased indeed with his day's work. But most of all, that second race victory. Didn't score any points from race 1, of course, because he did have that issue. But he's bounced back perfectly. And this is the thing with races where there are, evenings where there are 2 races a night, isn't it? You can bounce back in race number 2 if you have a bad first race. And that's what Peter Ferrero has done very well here today.
Now let's take a look at the results here from that race. Let's see, Peter Ferrero, the winner. Kyle Newhill, Eric Aria, Anthony Edwards. Those top 4 definitely did a really great job. See some of the slower guys that got involved in the earlier incidents, obviously down there. David Wang, 12th. Definitely tried his best. Just had a miscalculated pit stop, which would be our assumption. Congratulations to those top 3 drivers. They were fast and definitely coming down to the wire at the end.
Absolutely, and I believe we are now joined by Peter Ferrero in the commentary box to have a bit of a chat after that race. Peter, congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
On the race win here tonight from race number 2. We'll maybe touch on race 1 first to get the positive out of the way, and then talk about race 2. I mean, it was a shame to see you were the only guy to actually come into pit lane throughout that very clean first race, I've got to say. But you must have been disappointed after that first race. But again, the thing about this series, it gives you a second chance in the second race, and you were able to take that here today. Just tell us a bit about how your evening went today.
Yeah, it was, I had pretty low expectations. I had a pretty busy week, so I didn't get much practice in, which was kind of good because there were no expectations, so no nerves or anything like that. Yeah, race 1, unfortunately, I think it was just a racing incident, to be honest. I tried to leave room on the inside, but felt like I got tagged, and yeah, the steering column was just completely bent. So I thought instead of going around the track and causing other people a schmozzle, which I already done, I thought I'd just pit the thing and then hope for a reverse grid, which I got, and then it was just pure luck. Almost spat out a couple of times, but kept it going the right way in probably the hardest conditions I've ever done. So yeah, happy.
Yeah, how did you get ready for these conditions? Because it was pretty wet out there. The wet tyres were the obvious choice throughout the whole of today's racing. How did you prepare for that, and how did you get on with these wet weather conditions?
So early last week, I did a couple of sessions. The difference, I guess, is that going out by yourself in a practice session, there's no rubber on the track. So it was actually quite easy to drive. And I thought, this is actually not too bad at all. Then as the week went on, I just had commitments this week. So unfortunately couldn't do much practice. And then I got a bit of a surprise tonight as to how difficult it is once that rubber goes down. It's just so slippery. And I don't think the McLaren is probably the best car for it, but made it work. And it was good fun.
Well, congratulations on race 2 victory here tonight. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Shout out to my beautiful wife and my son and daughter for putting up with me using this thing. Thank you. Love you all.
Thanks for chatting to us, Peter, again. And congratulations on the second race win tonight.
Appreciate it. Cheers, guys.
Thanks very much. That's Peter Ferrero, the race 2 winner here tonight from Road America in the BISC. BISC GT3 Championship here in season number 1. Well, that's just about going to do it for us here tonight. A good round of racing here, Austin. I think it's fair to say, but super difficult conditions in the wet weather. It's fair to say as well, though, that all these guys dealt really well with it, and there was a couple of good races here tonight.
And that first race was definitely a blast, and obviously that tight racing that they had towards the end. Obviously, feature that was really close. And then Ben Snell had a little incident off that track, and it costed them 3 more spots, finishing 6th. Yeah, it was a great race all around in these conditions. Obviously, he showed no mercy to these guys, and they were fast all day. And I'm really excited to see who all goes in victory lane following weeks.
Absolutely, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, that is for sure. Eric Ari is certainly going to extend his championship lead, that's for sure. He came in with just 2 points over Guillaume Dombre in the standings. He will extend that. Van Giotto was only 23 back as well, and he will certainly drop away after that 0-point score from race number 2. Of course, Dombre didn't score any points from race number 2 either. So Aria will certainly be our championship leader as we head forward into the next rounds of our championship. That will come from Daytona. We are halfway now in the season, so next week's Daytona. At first, the week after that, followed by Fuji and Mugello to round out the season. I know people are waiting in the interview room, but I don't have the power to drag people. So we'll have to chat to Ben about that and get that sorted for next week. Hopefully have a bit more of a chat with some of the other drivers. A big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight, though. I've been Neil Leary alongside Austin Scherf. Until we see you in the next round of this championship here in Daytona in 7 days' time, it's goodbye for now.